Okay, I think I'm live now. Hi, running a little late. Give me a second. Because, of course, cats have knocked stuff over on me. You little jerks. Oh. All right, so this piece of porcelain goes right there. All right, cord for the phone. Oh, shoot. It's tied itself in a knot. Oh, for the love of Pete. All right. You are packing stuff. You're going to go right there. Stay. Oh, my goodness. All this stuff turned on. And this plugged in. My goodness me. Whoa. My laptop is falling off. Okay, hang on. Look at the ceiling for a second. What's going on here? Oh, shish. I don't know what I lost, but I knocked something off over the back. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, I'm going to lose this laptop. Aha. I can put these books under it. That'll help. Maybe then it'll stop tipping towards oblivion. Okay. Hopefully that'll be all right. Sit this over here. This. Where's the off button? Turn that off so it stops beeping at us. My goodness. I hear somebody creeping up on me. What do you want, little girl? My goodness. As you can see, nothing has changed in here. It's actually a little piled higher because I had to clear off the tubs in the hallway to get Christmas stuff away. So it was out of the way of me getting things ready for the auction house. One of the things going to the auction house is an alligator purse. Found that tucked away, so that's gonna go. So, hi, how is everybody? Oh, still haven't gotten the keyboard here. I've lost my tea. Hang on. Ugh. My ashwagandha tea, I left it out in the hallway. I have been having problems with ever increasing blood pressure, and it has definitely slowed me down this last month as we start playing around with dosages of medications. So, hi Rhonda, how are you? So who else is here? Oh, just 92 comments are from me and from you. That's okay. Lisa, hello. So right now, everybody's reasonably healthy. My blood pressure is still way too high. That top number is 157, and it doesn't want to go down. It's been slowly creeping up for a month. And I can tell it's too high because I can feel pressure in my ears all the time and pressure in my eyes. So they've been playing around with my medication. I start a new one tomorrow on top of the one that I am taking, and we'll see what happens with that. So it's slowed things down because if I physically do too much, pump my heart rate up, then that's pushing the pressure up. So I've had to be very cautious of doing anything physical for the last 2 weeks. This has been an ongoing problem, but now it's up high enough where it's causing definite physical effect. It's causing blurriness to the vision. I'm having trouble with that. Um, but I'm okay. I'm just behaving myself until we try to get this figured out. I haven't had the heart test yet. I'm having trouble finding a place that wasn't connected to the hospitals that closed, um, that is still open. But we'll get that squared away. And now I have to make another phone call because I'm covered under the Affordable Care Act. So if I have a test while the government shut down, are they going to pay the bill? I don't know. So I need to make some calls tomorrow morning. Um, thought that was going to happen today, but I have no stamina with this high blood pressure nonsense. And we had scouts on Wednesday night. So I ended up asleep until noon. It's really not pleasant to be so wiped out so easily, but I'm doing okay, doing the best I can. Come on, computer. Trying to get the laptop up makes it easier to see the chat. Um, but I've missed you guys, and I wanted to do a live, so and have a live chat so everybody knew what was going on. Come on. Why didn't you take the third number? There we go. Um, and then so 15 minutes before I needed to have everything set up and ready to roll, I get an email sent to me that apparently all day today, back and forth, a discussion about someone's advancement has been going on. And at no point did any of them think to talk to me. The person who decided that no, she should be in on this and made sure I got forwarded everything was our committee chair, because they went to her apparently about 8 o'clock tonight, stating there's irregularities and they don't think these two boys, maybe they shouldn't be the ranks they are. Well, yes, they should be. I have never had two more committed 11-year-olds in my life. They're brothers. One is younger than the other. And hello, dear. Hi, other Nancy. But I've rarely had a Boy Scout that has read his Scout handbook cover to cover. In the last, what, they joined in March, I believe. And they have busted their tails. They've gone to older scouts and asked for help. They've gotten it. They have done more than just what was happening at meetings. They actually asked older scouts if they could meet with them outside of meetings to work on advancement. And these are kids that were in our senior patrol. And these kids said yes. And so they were tested on everything that they learned to, it's trust but verify that they actually knew what they were supposedly taught. They did. They passed through all of that. Um, and so they bumped right on along through all the lower ranks, one right after the other in record time. But they can still tie all the knots they learned. They still know. They're amazing. They really made a point of learning it well. And now somebody's questioning that. Now, the other problem is that the younger of the two boys was not 11 when they joined. he he was not quite 10 and a half. So he was with us for a month and a half before his 11th birthday, but he has to be 11, 10 and a half, and or fifth grade is what it used to be. Now it's 10 and a half and fifth grade. So he's already done all this advancement stuff, but that meant I couldn't put any of it in the computer system until the last day of school was done for his fourth grade year. Because once you're out from that and school's ended, you are now a fifth grader. So everything is now dated from the end of June in the system. And they're questioning it because he had a board of review last night, which I had explained to his mother he shouldn't have until January. So, but apparently they have been all talking among themselves without bothering to ask the person whose job it is to track this stuff. So before that fire could get any bigger, because they were talking about questioning his mother, and I'm like, no, English is not her first language and she's still learning it. So that's just gonna cause more harm than good. So I had to quick answer that, which is why I'm late, and I do apologize for that. But these two kids are just so into scouting. They absolutely love it. They never had anything like it in China. And so they don't have the same viewpoint of it as the kids that have grown up here. They look at this as such a fantastic thing because it does all the stuff that their family used to do before their dad died. So now they get to go camping again, and mom goes with them, and she's getting her training, try to be an assistant scoutmaster. She's taking English classes to improve her English. She came over here to start a new life because in China it's a lot harder for a single mom. So it's a bit easier here, and she has a good job here too. Um, so she came here for a job, brought her in. Apparently, she is because math is universal. Higher mathematics is universal, and whatever she's doing, it's with a chemical company in Wilmington. So, and it's her specialty. So, so she's doing all right there, but Mm, I did not need this to continue to, you could see from the first email questions being asked, and then they're in like an echo chamber of the three of them. And it's not getting any answers because you're not asking the right person. You guys are just back and forth with each other, and then they took it to the committee chair, who the first thing she said was, why isn't Nancy on this thread? So, um, so now I am, so that I could quick nip this in the bud that, yes, we know about this and this is okay. But he also was not expected to have a board review last night. He and his mother were told that he would have to wait. Well, no, his older brother and his mother were told he would have to wait until January. And apparently they didn't tell him that. So he went ahead and emailed to request a board review. And Andrea, the person in charge of the boards, didn't really know. And she went, well, let's just let him have it and then you'll figure out the dates. And that's fine. But now there's somebody who's been helping her who is like, oh, well, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, what are you going to do? It's a mix up, and there was extenuating circumstances, which this person knew nothing about. But they're questioning whether they should be allowed to continue because she's acting like the boy has falsified the dates. No, the boy is not. And those dates, the system won't accept them because of the kid's age. So you had to wait till the system would accept them to put them in. It was just unforeseen circumstances. It was a mix up because one person assumed it was still um and or for the 10 and a half and fifth grade thing when it's not. It's end, period. So It's no or, it's no 10 and a half or fifth grade. It's both. Um, so that was the mix up. And by that point, the kid had already been in the troop for 2 months. So I tried to nip it in the bud quickly, typing on my phone and sending that back, and that's why I am late. So I do apologize for that. But I'm also thinking, just breathe. Not letting myself get upset over it. One of the people involved, this is totally not unexpected because that person just has mm, she's so straight-laced, it's a wonder her ribs ain't cracked in that corset. Yeah. But you know what? She volunteered to be on the committee. She does her job, and that's a good thing. So, but I'm here now. My brother's doing okay. Mike's doing okay. And other than this blood pressure thing, I'm doing okay. And I'm trying to get that dealt with still. So, um, all that's good. Kitty cats are good. We did have an Aragorn escape at one point. Um, he did not like it. He would not come out for me. And he ended up staying out overnight. I don't think he slept at all. I kind of know where he was hiding, but there was no way I could get in underneath all that overgrowth to get him. And as soon as he heard Gary around 4 o'clock in the morning leave to go get his coffee and his paper from the local Wawa, he was just waiting for Gary to come back. So he hasn't tried to go outside again since then. So that was the middle. So it's been 2.5 weeks. Little sucker. Yeah, blood pressure meds can be tricky to figure out. Um, the real problem is they can't figure out at all what's causing it. And the fact that as the blood pressure's gone up, the stamina, I've talked before about, I don't know what's wrong because my stamina is just completely dropping. And that is an indicator of why they think there might be a blockage in an artery on the heart. Where is YouTube? There we go. Um, so I have been slacking on the lives because there's been so much stuff. A couple of those lives were because of my brother being in and out of the hospital for quite a few different weeks there. And then last week, I honestly didn't I had a head cold and I just really I had talked so much at Scouts the night before because we had started doing, we had a lot of kids were trying to get their last requirements in with me for merit badges and stuff. So it was just sitting at a table, meeting with one kid after the other as they'd come up with a packet of information for different merit badges that I had to read through and approve and question them on. And so I talked so much that night I lost my voice by the end of Scouts and it didn't come back. Um, Anytime I tried talking during that day on Thursday, it would just, I'd talk for maybe 5 minutes and then it would cut out completely. And so I tried again, um, I think in the late afternoon, and it just wasn't coming back. So I had to cancel last week's because I just couldn't talk. I had a sinus infection. There's some kind of sinus infection that's been going around. It's been going through the kids in the troop, and then it caught me, and it just drained so much down my back of my throat. It was just stripping out my throat. That was a real problem. What are you? There we go. So, where is my channel? Oh, I still don't have the new laptop because I haven't been able to go out to the farm this month. Last month they had too much going on. No, get out of my way. I want to be able to actually like easily see the chat. Come on, old thing. There we go. Get it off of top chat, put it in live chat. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, I am the one who's take care of family with Gary. So, but I have managed to get not a huge amount done, but we did go out we did go out on Tuesday to my sister's and picked up some stuff that was still out there, and some of what I brought back is going to go to Briggs auction. So, um there was this big wall cabinet. It looks kind of like a medicine chest, but a medicine chest on steroids. Kind of like that country kitchen kind of look that was popular in the what, like the late 80s. But it's got two wooden doors. The whole thing's made to look like it's oak. It's too lightweight to be oak. Um, but that's the stain color they gave it. But it's got two doors with mirrors on it, and you open them up, and then there's the big long towel rack, and the whole thing is like this long. It's a big thing. We're never going to use it here, so I'm going to send that to the auction house. And so I wanted to pick up that, and then we brought back some boxes of sewing stuff, some of which I'll have to put on Etsy because some of it is things of seam binding, but it's like the wholesaler kind. So it's like the spools are like only that thick, this thickness of the seam binding and two pieces of cardboard, but they're like this big around. So there's like 100 yards. I don't know how many of them were in the box, but there's those, and there's boxes of buttons, old blouse buttons and stuff. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. They're from when my aunt used to work at the clothing mills in upstate Pennsylvania. And when they were done, they would just, when they were done doing whatever it was they were sewing, they would just tell them throw everything in the trash. But they would let the sewers take whatever they wanted. So she knew mom always did all this sewing, so she gave a bunch of stuff to mom over the years. And I know I took a bunch of it when my mother first died to the county nursing home. Um, but this was still still some more of it around. God, for years I was using red seam binding to tie the plastic garland, holly garland down the staircase, and I would every year cut more red seam binding off this spool just so we could use it up. So, I haven't taken my allergy meds. They're upstairs. So the nose is starting to stuff up a little. But we're in good shape for getting closer to sending things to that auction house. So um okay, so I see what did Nancy say? Because I see a comment there, it just now popped up on the live chat. Oh yeah, I'm taking care of my scout family. I have been adopted by some of the Chinese families, Chinese American families. Um, they took me out to dinner on last Saturday. I thought it was just going to be two of the moms. No, no, no. Meng picked me up, and then we drove for about 45 minutes on the highway. And I'm like, I thought we were going to go somewhere local. She goes, oh, no, no, I got to take you. We're all taking you to the good place. And I went, who's all this we all? Thought it was just going to be you and Amy. Oh, no, 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 no. So then she's like, the one mom who was there, her son tried out the scouts, but he was already 13. And he decided that he had to make a choice because he was really into the youth group at his church, and they moved their meeting night to the same night the troop meets. So he had to make a choice. So he chose the church because he's been in that youth group for since he was like 11. So he had just he had graduated up now to the teenager youth group, which does more. And so he he decided to go with that. But she was part of this group, and then my friend Meng and her son, and then one two of the boys, their mom and dad. And so, and then Amy. So there's what? There was one, two, three, four, five, six adults. And then and then there's I have my senior patrol leader next to me. I have one of the other senior patrol across the table from me, a young man who's not in the troop, but is somehow related in there to the boys. And then um the two Amy's two young boys. So there's so there's also so there's like there's one, two, three, four, five. So there's six kids. And the thumbnail picture, this place, they found out I like sushi. Well, they took me to this place that it's all you can eat, and it is amazing stuff. And you scan this QR code, and the menu comes up, and you scan this little code that they put with what number it comes on the it's on the table with the number of the table. So we were at number 33. Well, you get the menu and you just order, and then it'll come out. And it's paid. It's like I can't believe they took me out for this because I saw the price on that thing. So for 35.99, it's all you can eat of anything on the menu. Yeah. I had stuff I'd never had before. I tried an oyster for the first time. Yeah. I'll stick with clams. Um, I had one thing I ate that I honestly didn't even know what it was. It was some kind of little ball, and it's got a coating, and then they stir fry it, but inside it's very mushy, whatever it was. I don't even know what it was. But so much stuff was coming out, it was crazy. And they have these braziers in the center of the table because they bring out these slices, thin slices of different meats, and you cook them right there on the table. I had lamb for the first time, and it was fabulous. But the thumbnail, because it's a Japanese restaurant, a lot of the decor is Japan. And in the back along the wall, they have an actual samurai armor. And so that's what the picture, the thumbnail was, because I went right back to that when I have to get a picture of this. And so that's what that was. That's what the thumbnail was. So what did CDC say here? There's quite the lag in the chat for me because it's not it. Oh, there it is. My screen is goofy here. Your Goodwill is going to have a wow, clothes for a well, selling clothes online. I don't know. I mean, not everybody has access to a Goodwill. And the people I see with clothes online, they're usually a specific, like either somebody will do all shoes, there's many that do just sneakers, some do vintage. You wondered what the thumbnail picture was? Yeah, it's samurai armor. And I took some close-up shots because their armor is amazing, because all those little pieces are sections of, and this is a um really old military kit, because all those little red lacquered little sections, those little tiny rectangle pieces, they're all bamboo. And the whole thing is laced together. And then there's padded layer underneath that's like layers and layers of padded fabric. And that's like a jacket underneath it. So, and but the helmet is metal. The chest plate is mostly um it's bamboo pieces, and they would dip them into metal to give them a coating to make them a little stronger. And then everything was lacquered red, and then all the strings and all the underneath stuff is black. It's really cool looking. But man, that restaurant was awesome. I can't remember the name of it. Hakura. I know I shared it on Facebook where we were, because I'm trying to talk Michael into going up. Yes, it's expensive, but yes, you go on an empty stomach. And so it's fabulous. But um they knew, apparently they were told ahead of time, that someone at the table, me, had a crab allergy. So anything that was normally made with crab, they said right at the beginning that the hostess, you don't call her a waitress, she's your hostess, um, that anything that for this table that was to have crab in it was going to have imitation crab this evening. And so I was just like, what, they can do that? It was wild. I also had a couple of root vegetables that I don't recognize either. I did pass on the octopus. I've had those before. It's like chewing a car tire. It is very rubbery. I did also try, I've heard of them. In Japan, they do a lot with conjure eel, and I actually had a piece of that. And I don't know how they cook it, but it just melted in your mouth. It's fabulous. So it's just great stuff. Some things I wasn't willing to try. There were some things where there were, and they came cooked and brought out, where they were like shish kebab kind of things, but some of them were like organ meats, um, kidney, tongue. I nah. I've eaten liver from different animals, but I was not. I was brave enough to try the oyster and the eel. I wasn't going to worry about trying the other two. That was enough for me. And it was so funny because I don't know why, but like all of a sudden, and we're winding down eating, and there's just plates everywhere. And they cleared the table once from all the little plates. But the whole thing is, the idea is that everybody orders and then you can share it. And so there was stuff that was ordered just for the table, to just for everybody to try, whoever wanted to try it. Um, and I had been waiting for my sesame balls. I love them. My Aunt Michiko used to make them for me when I was a kid. And they are little balls about that big. It's like donut holes in a way. But Japan sesame balls, there is red bean paste, which is pretty sweet, um, in the center. And then they roll it in sesame seeds and then just drop it in the deep fryer, just long enough to cook the dough on the outside. And I love them. So I had ordered some. And then next thing I know, here come three more plates. Now, the plates, because you're ordering for one, well, so you get a little plate that's like this, and it has three little balls on it. Well, next thing I know, here come three more plates. And I say, well, I have to go use the restroom. And I had eaten my 3 off of my plate, and one of the boys had tried it because the sesame balls in China are a different thing. They're much bigger. They're like a tennis ball, and they're very airy inside. They're almost like a cruller type of donut, and they have the sesame seeds on the outside, but they're more of a just a hollow kind of donutty kind of thing. But I come back and it was like, oh, I guess everybody ate all the sesame seeds. And the one parent, the couple that was with us, when they came in the door, they had come in with a gift for me. They had been to the Bahamas and they had brought back some postcards for me to use for the boys for advancement and one of these tortuga cakes, which is a rum filled pound cake. And I've only ever seen them in Florida. And so they brought me one. It's about that big in the box. They brought me one of those. And I look down and I can see this white napkin thing shoved down in the bag. And I went, what is that? And Meng leans over and she goes, we know you like the sesame balls. So we ordered extra and we wrapped them up in napkins and put them in the bag for you. That's why the extra plates of them came out. They all had, 3 of them had the same idea. So 3 of them ordered sesame balls. And apparently we're laughing about it when I had walked away that they each had ordered. So that was a nice kind of fun thing that happened. Um it was a nice night. It really was. I haven't been able to like go out with friends like that in a long while, partly because the close friends that I used to do things like that with, well, a couple of them have died and even more have moved away. So oh yeah, it was a great snack for later because even taking them out of the fridge and eating them cold with a hot cup of tea, that still worked. That still was really nice. So, so that was a nice treat. It was very nice to be included and invited. Now, I don't know what's going on, but they now I knew the 2 of the boys sitting there knew when that my birthday's the end of the month and I'll turn 60 on the 27th of October. But I know those adults that were at that table did not know that. And there were twice it happened where there were people there at tables around us who were having birthday things because somebody comes out with this drum, this traditional Japanese drum, and they start banging on it and they're singing happy birthday. But why this guy, though? Why this guy who is tone deaf? Did you give the drum to have him start the happy birthday? He's doing his best. He really is. That guy's doing his best. But he was tone deaf. So it was a little interesting. And I'm thinking, and uh Michael, the senior patrol leader, he leans over to me, he says, what would you give me if I don't tell them it's your birthday? And I went, it's not my birthday for weeks yet, so you get nothing. And he went, oh, shucks. And he started laughing. And so his mom asked him, what, what, what did I hear? Whose birthday? Because his birthday's coming up too. And she said, do you want to come here for your birthday? And he goes, no, 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 no. And then he looks at me and he switches to Chinese, knowing that I can't understand it, and proceeds to tell her that my birthday is coming up, when it is, and how old I'm going to be. Well, I went through those adults. She turned right around, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then they all go, "Oh, we can bring you back." Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? No, this was fantastic, and I'm grateful, but you wouldn't let me pay anything, and I feel kind of awkward, and but thank you. I'm grateful for being allowed to be here, and they were like, no, 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 birthday. We bring you back at the end of the month for your birthday. Uh, like, wait, how did you? And I hear this laughing next to me, and I'm going, uh huh. You just wait. Yours is before mine, and yours is on a night the scouts meet. And he opened his mouth and he went, "Oh, I hadn't thought of that." So I will have to do something for him now. Because he will be turning 16, so I will have to do something since he ratted me out. I'm definitely now going to rat him out to the scout troop. Oh, it'll be fun though. But so I don't know what they're gonna do. I know some of my ASMs are getting kind of strange because um Tom's birthday is near mine, but he's 6 years older than I am. And he's like, "Well, I know my birthday's coming up next week, and yours will be what, 2 weeks after mine?" I was like, "Yeah, it's something like that." And another one of the ASMs heard it, and she's like, "Oh, well, if you don't mind my asking," she said, "how old are you going to be?" And I went, "Oh, I'm going to be 60." And she goes, "Wow, I didn't think you were. I'll shut up now." And I went, "What? That I was that much older than you?" "Yeah, I get that a lot." And she just went, "Okay." Um, I said, "I got all the good Irish genetics from my mom's family, so I know I don't look 60, but yeah, 60." And so she's like, "Well, you're going to have a party?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I've only ever had one birthday party anyway. So, and I don't really have space at my house yet to have a party." And she went, "What do you mean you've only ever had a one birthday party?" And I went, "Well, because there are no kids. When I was growing up, there weren't any other kids in the area there other than Michael and Daria." Yes, another Michael. Um, he's now a priest. But my mom would just go, "Well, where do you want to go?" So we would go to the movies. We went up to the Franklin Institute in Philly. We would go spend a day on South Street in Philly. We'd go to the movies. Whatever was going on around there, she'd just take us out. So I didn't have a party until I was 40 when friends threw me one. And it was a blast. But so that's the only one I've had. I don't expect to ever have another one, really. So I don't know if they're planning something or not. All I know is the weekend before is a Boy Scout trip I intend to be on because I have not been able to go camping with these guys for what, 4 years now since I hurt my spine. So, because I couldn't crawl into a tent without causing Charlie horses in the upper thighs and down into the calf. And there's nothing more horrible than having your entire leg cramp up. That's no fun. So, but they're staying in a cabin. There's a room for the adults. So I get to be in the cabin, which is great because then I can go with the boys. This weekend, we have troop leader training. I'm not spending the night, but I will. It's local, so I will be driving out and staying the day on Saturday because I have some teaching to do in the afternoon, and so I'll be out for that. But so they're I can't figure out when they would actually plan to do anything because my birthday does not fall on Scout night, and it's after both these trips, so by like a week after the one. So I don't know. I don't know what she's up to. I don't know what Lisa's up to, but I think she's up to something. They'll probably have a card at the scout meeting and make all the kids sign it. But who knows? I don't tend to be I mean, I get it. It's a big number, but not having really been that used to um having big events and big to-dos over a birthday, they don't hold the same appeal, I guess, as some people do. Oh, my hair looks great. Yeah, it's funny. Like right here puffs up because you see how short this is. When that cyst got hit, I had to cut all the hair. Well, they did some at the ER when it had gotten split, and they cut some of the hair, but then I had to cut a bigger area. And the funny part is that, like, if I put my hair over, it makes it stand up and give it some volume up top. But my hair is to the point where it's long enough now, it's doing that little bit of curling that I get on the ends. So I like this length, but I want to dye it, but that's kind of hard to do when you don't have a working shower in the house other than having to do one in the basement. That's not fun. So the roof repairs have been holding up except for one spot. Um, when the water for the downspout during a heavy rain, if it clogs up, we're still getting a drip in the upstairs back hallway, but there's no more water running into the walls and coming down into the second floor, into the kitchen, into this back hallway. So that's great. That's fine. Um, that's been good. The other spots seem to be, we don't hear a leak in Michael's ceiling anymore. We don't hear it drip. So that's good. That's all great. Um, the challenge now is trying to save up money for that plumbing, but the neighbor's oak tree kept dropping branches because apparently there's a thing called sudden branch syndrome, which is apparently common to oak trees. If you have very dry conditions and they don't have enough water, they'll self prune. That thing dropped a number of big branches, two of which hit the house. Luckily, they did no damage, no real damage. Um, but he decided to lop off all the branches that are on his side, making this massive tree that is 4 stories tall, top heavy, where it's all the branches are over my house. Two of them are very big. One goes directly straight across. Not quite straight across where I am sitting, more like because there's a window here and then a porch. So probably about 8 feet that way. And it goes all the way across and sticks out past the edge of the roof on this side. And where it meets the tree, it's like bigger than my head around. So I've wanted that one taken down. He said he would the first time his tree damaged my house. There's video, the tree that broke my house. But he never took care of it. And then the other one is 2 branches up from that big one. The other next big one that goes on a diagonal across the front of my house and is right over the dormer for the attic windows. So I'm kind of worried about the roof should something happen with those 2 branches. Mostly that one, because the one big thick one, the way the house is built, there's this um very big part of the roof that's over top of the back master bedroom. But then there is a wall down here, which is the bathroom, so that down here is the kitchen roof. So if something hits up here, it's going to do this. It's going to swing and it's going to slam that heavy end right into my kitchen roof. And that's over the back half of the kitchen and then the kitchen porch. I don't want to end up with a tree limb in my kitchen. And that's possible. So that's on the next thing. We've got too many big bills coming up because we've got a quote for $1,500 to take off those big limbs off the tree. Um, the one is not going to be easy because you can't let any of the real heavy pieces drop and hit the roof. So it's 1,500 for that. I haven't gotten a quote yet for the bathroom. That's going to be probably even bigger because they've got it. We got to take all the ceiling off and see if they can go do everything up from underneath instead of having to try to go from the top down, which means they'd have to tear up the whole floor and everything. But since the ceiling below is already gone, or mostly, um, just have them do it from underneath would probably be easier. So that's another big bill. And then it's getting cold and heating oil. So I need to be healthy. I'm tired of being unhealthy and having things slow me down, but so they're the big challenges. Um it's also another thing that why it really kind of pushed me to start thinking critically about what could go to auction. So so there's a couple of things. Um those old Tonka trucks, they're definitely going to go. And then I realized that there's a fur coat in the closet that I should pull out and see if that's still any good because it was my grandmother's, but she was such a little petite thing. That coat didn't fit anybody, so it's just been in there. So if it's still any good, I should send the fur coat to the auction house because it's not something I'm going to deal with. I don't want to deal with shipping that and all that. So it'll be good to get that out of here. It's just been sitting in there doing nothing for years. Well, I've been watching um around here like before the lockdown, hardly anything would be online of the local auctions. You still had to physically go and sit there and but one auction house never came back. Wilson's auctions they don't exist anymore. And they've been around in this area for like 80 years. They've been around forever. But um, this other one, uh, Briggs auction, they went online. So they now do all their auctioning online and they've watched the prices that they are getting for things go up because now people can do it from the comfort of their own home and then you just go that weekend and pick it up. Or if you need it shipped, you have to call them before you bid on it and make arrangements that and talk to them about that so they can whatever I don't know what they would do for that because I haven't had to do it, but I've been watching them. That's also what's helped me decide some of what's going to go to them because they've gotten some pretty good prices for the old metal large Tonka trucks, and we've got some of those in the basement. And so we're going to send them, and they do okay with fur coats, so I'll send that. They do well with old books, so some of the books will go to them because there's some, like I have a whole box that's all, and some of them have been through live sales here. Um, but I've got a box started with stuff that didn't sell through my live sales that are all like movie and theater related, and some of them are ones that are technical books on theater, how to design stage lighting, and stuff that I had used and learned from a long time ago. I've actually been paid a couple of times for directing shows in the Gilbert and Sullivan community. Um, so I don't need those anymore. So it will clear up space on shelves. So what do we got here? Postal rates should be going up again because in the U.S. they always seem to do this little tick up before Christmas, and they charge us a little extra during the whole Christmas season. Though I don't remember if they ever actually bring it back down. I don't know. But yeah, the rates should be popping up a little bit more soon. I'm more worried about the fact that we have countries that are now refusing to send stuff in to us. That I think is going to be more of a headache for people. Oh yeah, yeah. See, they have. Yeah, your auction houses are doing the same thing. It's all online. They make more money and have less staff. Well, yeah, they do. They seem to have kept a lot of the staff, though. I have to laugh because some of their staff are, I think, college age kids. Um, because there have been some, oh, just outright egregious mistakes, if that's the right word. I think it is. Um, they're sometimes their descriptions for the stuff are usually very short to the point, and occasionally very wrong. And I've corrected them 3 times since 2020 because it was so badly wrong. And I knew what it was and went, no, 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 no. One of them was a Gilbert and Sullivan piece. Um, and they had it that I forget what they said it was, but I'm like, they said it was something for one of the presidents, a campaign something. Or I'm like, no, that's from the children's pinafore. That's supposed to be the captain of the pinafore, and no, no. It even has, it even has HMS Pinafore on it. Yet they were trying to say it was from somebody's political campaign. I'm like, no, it wasn't. So once had emailed and told them what it was, then they corrected it and put what it was, that it was related to Gilbert and Sullivan's operettas. And when they came over and did a children's version in the United States of HMS Pinafore, um, so that was a commemorative piece from that. And so that one I got. And then there was someone who did not understand the difference between Art Nouveau and Art Deco. And they had a stunning Art Nouveau china closet with all these nice curl lines, because Art Deco is very much about geometry, but Art Nouveau is very much about curves and pastels, and this thing was gorgeous with all these nice curve lines and curls in the wood and the way it was carved on the get there were little calla lilies carved going up the frame of the door, they would start like underneath the edge of this big swirled piece at the top of the door. And it was just a fabulous example of Art Nouveau. And they said it was Art Deco. And I'm like, no, 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 no. So I sent a very nice letter going, you might want to double check that one. And they fixed it. They put Art Nouveau, and apparently they double checked it, and they actually found they found underneath one of the drawers, they found a label of who had made it. So it was a good thing they went back and checked it. They should have given me commission because they had maybe 2 bids on it that had it up to $300 as an Art Deco piece. And then as soon as they redid it and relabeled it, that it was Art Nouveau. Well, now it's hitting more search engines. That sucker jumped and finally sold for $3,000 because Art Nouveau furniture is so rare here in the US. So they did that one, and I forget what the other one was. It was a oh, I know. It was a piece of pottery because it was Mitch Lyons. and they didn't know who he was. They said that it just said Lyons, Lyons on the bottom, and an M, and they didn't know anything. They didn't know who it was. They didn't know anything about him. If you'd have just done an internet search on M. Lyons pottery, you'd have found it. And so I sent him the link to the page that Mitch had. He was fairly known on the East Coast. It's got his stuff in the Delaware Art Museum and several other museums, but we used to actually sell his stuff in the gift shop. He's passed away now, but um, so I had to let them know who that was because they hadn't. I just wonder if somebody gets, they're on a deadline to get this stuff listed, the good pictures and get it up and ready because they run an auction every week. Sometimes they'll have two running. They recently had the they usually have a discovery auction and then a fine arts auction. And then as long as there's no holiday in the middle of that month and it's a long month, then there'll be another discovery auction, which is just general lots of stuff. The fine art stuff does tend to be the higher end antiques and things. Um, but they had a Mackenzie Childs auction running at the same time as their fine arts auction last week because they had a whole collection. Someone was selling off a massive collection of Mackenzie Childs stuff, all kinds of pottery and other things from that artist. So they will sometimes do, but I've been watching their stuff because it helps me sometimes get values. It helps me learn what is worth something. Um, but I've also, I wanted to see what their sales rate was. I've never seen a discovery auction where stuff did not get any bid, which is good. Now, granted, most of the discovery auction stuff starts at $1. But while I have seen some things only get up to $5, um, I've not seen anything not sell. Most things sell for anywhere from 30 on up to the hundreds for these discovery auctions. So that's why I decided to go with them. They're local, they've got a good reputation. They'll come pick it up too. That's nice. I won't have to try to haul it all out there. They'll come pick it up. So I will have to get photos. That's kind of hard to do for some of this stuff because it don't have it pulled out. I can't get into the dining room because there's stuff there from when I did that house clean out. And one of them's a big trunk, uh, uh, traveling, big old wooden traveling trunk, and that's going to go to them. So, and that one, the inside is pretty nice, but I don't remember if it has the drawer with it or not. If it has the drawer with it, it'll be worth more. So, yeah, it's things are going. Um, if the if it's sunny tomorrow, I'm gonna try to film a work with me because I need to clear out that hallway all the way and clean all the dust and everything. And so I can line stuff up down that hall of what I want to send. And that would be another video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video that was up this past Sunday. That was part one of being at Mad Hatter Antiques. I need to um, do part two and get that up. And no, there was no outro. I apologize for that because I hadn't figured out how to do it. I was trying to edit on the phone and it just was not, I couldn't get any voiceover done. I couldn't figure it out. So but didn't want to wait any longer. I wanted to get that out. So I needed to try to I need to email the videos to myself so I can get them onto the laptop and then try using Canva and see if I can get them because one of the videos, um, because we went to 3 different places, and one of the videos, by the end of it, my hand started cramping up, and then I dropped the phone, and then the phone had run out of was running out of battery, and but my hand started cramping because I'd been walking around like this through, 3 different shops, and finally it just cramped and my fingers curled all up and I couldn't hold the phone. So it very abruptly ends with everything falling to the floor. So I definitely need to have an outro for that one. But there was some very cool stuff. There was some very, very cool stuff. And then I tried to show, and I know a lot of people like seeing the holiday stuff, and there was some very interesting holiday stuff too. And you guys got to see what I did get when we were out for his birthday. That's what he wanted to do. Um, but you guys already saw what I did get, so you know that when you get to the one video that shows that silhouette, you already know that I did go back and get it. So I don't have it hanging up yet, but I have it sitting where I can see it and where the cats can't mess it up, knock it over. So so that kind of takes some of the thrill out of, well, did she get from this place? Well, because I already did the haul video. Oh my goodness. So, but I am back now. Um, we have Mike today has been very helpful, and we've gotten some packing stuff into the kitchen for me to work on some things tomorrow. Um, because he'll be around tomorrow. With taking this new medicine starting tomorrow, I'm not to be I'm not to be alone the first 24 hours. I am not to drive. No running any heavy machinery, all that fun stuff. So I will definitely be housebound, which is good. I can just keep plugging away at little stuff that I can do, and we'll see what happens. But I'm doing okay. I don't know when I will do another live sale because I've got stuff everywhere. Um, you saw me moving boxes as it was, and yet I've still got stuff here that I've got to sort out and get packed for you guys, but I've also got auction stuff sitting here. There's some stuff sitting on top of that box that's all those stitch kits that I need to get on Etsy. Um, I really thought I would have that all done by now, but it's just life has had other plans. But I'm still upright and breathing. I'm still walking without needing a cane. So I got nothing to complain about. I really don't. Uh, yeah, I feel like I've been lazy this year, but I realize it's like every single month, there's been one of the 3 of us has been sick or in the hospital or, dealing with the one in the hospital. It's been feel like a ping pong ball that's been spattered back and forth quite a bit for this year. And now with this stamina issue, which they said is probably 100% directly related to whatever's causing the blood pressure to go up. We've even tried me taking aspirin with the current blood pressure medication to try to thin the blood a little bit and see if that would help. And it didn't. So so we'll see. Um Mike's gonna make sure I get up in the morning at 8:30 instead of falling right back asleep again. Hey, any good part is I've gotten bunches of books read. I've gotten library books. I took 4 of them back. I was trying to read one called the know-it-all. This gentleman was trying to become the my humble journey to be the smartest man in the world. Well, what he did is he decided he was going to read through the Encyclopedia Britannica. There is nothing humble in anything that man wrote. And half the book is big chunks of the Britannica. It'll have the word, and then it'll have, you know, the definition and the write up about it, or a person's name and the write up about it. And there's pages and pages of that. And then he shares some anecdote, and almost all of them are where he is forcing his knowledge that he had just learned into a conversation just to show off, and it just doesn't, it comes off very egotistical. I had a real hard time keeping, I got to the point where I stopped reading his little anecdotes. So I would like kind of glance over it, see if it was worth it. And I was like, nope, he's doing the same thing in this one too. And then I was just reading the parts that were from the encyclopedia. So that one wasn't great. I'm reading a book now that's in pieces. It's a paperback that I picked up from when I picked up all those Native American books, and it's on Princess Margaret. But the problem is, it was written by her personal assistant back in the 60s. The problem is, it's in pieces. The glue binding is completely cracked. It's missing a couple of pages so far. But as I read it, it's literally pages popping off in my hand. So that one's, it's a good book, but that one's definitely not staying here. But it is what it is, and every day is a new chance to do more. It's just been very slow. I'm not happy with having no stamina. I'm not happy with um this blood pressure just being the way it is. We need to figure this out, and soon. Because if it is something clogged, then I have to have a procedure done. And if, because they talked about possibly, if it's a clogged artery, then they have to do something. They have to go in and see what they can do about it. And I really don't want to be in a hospital on my birthday. Really don't. So I need to get this done sooner rather than later. But I've called two places and they wouldn't take my insurance. And now with the shutdown, I have to make sure that I can still actually do anything um, with that affordable care insurance. Um, or is that frozen? So I don't know. Um, I just don't know, but I'll find out. Meanwhile, my nose is starting to stuff up and my throat's starting to get sore. So I'm gonna go. I just figured you guys should see me, have an update. Um, this is where things are, and I'm gonna just keep trying to plug away slowly and carefully. I figured it would be good if I could do the hallway tomorrow because I'll have Mike to help because there are two small pieces of furniture that need to be moved to one to the basement because the bookcase is just, it needs to be revamped. At some point it was painted black, which is horribly ugly. Um and the cats have been hopping up on top of it. So this bookcase is only about this wide, but it's starting to do that thing like it's not square anymore. It's like this. And the only reason it hasn't collapsed from the cats hopping up on top of it is because the radiator's there. So it needs to have the last little bit of stuff emptied off of it and be taken down to the basement where then I can pop it apart and then properly uh, re-glue it and re-nail it and get it squared again. Though the weather's been nice for it, I might strip the sucker because I could do that outside on a bunch of newspaper and then just throw the newspaper in the fire pit and burn it. Have a nice fire for cold days. Be nice to sit out there with one some evening. But um but he needs to move that for me. I'm not going to try carrying that to the basement. And then the little lady's writing desk is going to need to be moved. I haven't quite figured out where to yet. But that's got to be moved because I need to put the trunk there. And if they come pick stuff up, I don't want them thinking they're taking that desk. So I'd rather not have it anywhere near all the stuff that's going to line up there. And I'm sure like all the stuff on the other side is probably going to have cat hair and dust on it because that's right there at the staircase. And I swear those cats only shed on the staircase because I always get dust bunnies of cat fur on the stairs. And we sweep the floor all the time, but it always seems to build up on the staircase. Why? So, but those of you who have animals know there's always somewhere that the fur always seems to hang out more than other places. So I'm going to go and I will post part 2 of the Mad Hatter Antiques Mall. That will go up on Sunday. And I will see you next Thursday for something. Either another chat or we empty a box or two. By next Thursday, I need to have all of this sorted out because one box back there is still all fabric yardage from a live sale where I was selling craft fabric and clothing fabric by the yard. So if you find that video, uh, I still have a lot of it. I still have 8 yards of flannel I know that has little hearts on it in that box. So I need to get that. That needs to get to the dining room where we're trying to have like the fabric that's going to get listed on Etsy by the yard. Um we need to have that somewhere. And so since there's God knows how much fabric still in that dining room, that seems the logical place. But right now I can't even get into it. Um this is more Native American books, and then this is just odd bits that are here, and then one box back there is from a live sale. And it's the stuff that didn't sell, so I need to get that out of the way. So, how much do I weigh? Way too much. I am not what was my heaviest, but I'm still too close to 300. Every time I have had to spend 6 weeks in bed, I have gained way too much. Between the foot surgery, when they found out that when I had the stress fracture, and then they found out I had broken my foot as a kid, and it was making all the bones rub the wrong way in the right foot. They had to go in and regrind 8 bones. So I had 6 weeks of bed rest there. 18 months after that, I had snapped the ligament in my left ankle at training for Wood Badge for Boy Scouts. That was 8 weeks bed rest as the ligaments tried to find themselves. And the worst part of that one, I really ballooned a lot from that one, more so than the other one, because the other one, the whole thing was about keeping the foot immobilized. So I slept with a boot on, so the foot was always kept at an angle, to the ankle, so it was always straight. But I could move at the waist. I could do leg lifts. I could lay on my side and do leg lifts. So I was still able to do some movement while in the bed for the first one. So the first one, I only gained 20 pounds because of the crap that I was being fed. And see, now I was 309 at one point. I was 309, and Um, I am back up to 298, which I'm not happy with, but um that started happening when I've been sick so many times and Michael cooks and everything is pasta with lots of cheese, and that's not great. Or pizza, which the worst thing to be eaten. And he would have pizza three times a week, just delivered to the house for dinner when it was his turn to cook. Yeah, that's going to be hard on your heart being that young. Mike is very heavy too. He's more than I am, and he's just turned 31. And most of it is for me is that second time when it was the ankle, I could not move at all from the waist down. The minute I did, you'd feel it in the leg because that main ligament that goes behind the ankle bone comes all the way up to your hip. The one that's in front of the ankle bone comes up to your knee, and I had snapped both of them. And then when I hurt my spine, I mean, I spent weeks flat on my back. And no, hon, I'm female. um, but it's hard. The hardest thing and what also gained a lot of my weight was also the fact that I didn't move. I didn't I and then hurting my spine and then not working, I gained a lot because I did not move at all. I wasn't going for walks because I physically couldn't because I was walking with a walker. Um, so I didn't start losing it until made an effort to start going to walk around the block. Now with this stamina issue and the high blood pressure lately, that's kind of that's kind I was wondering what I was hearing, but I'm hearing two cats wrestling in the hallway. Um when I was losing the weight was not just about watching the calories, um, and making sure one meal a day was a salad. It was the movement. I gained so much more every time it was that I wasn't getting movement. Even if it was just doing, um, something so simple as, I would just stand there and even if it's just wiggling, do something or rock side to side where I'm putting my hips back and forth. So I have to be careful with that one now because of the pinched nerve. While I was waiting for the tea water to boil, and when I do that, and I gave up sugar, I use stevia. That alone, not having soda and dropping the sugar in my tea and using stevia instead, that alone took 10 pounds off of me. But then I had gotten to the point where I had lost 20 and then started having some issues this year back. So I'm still working on it. And now with the stamina problem, as the stamina's gotten worse, it's 14 steps to get to the second floor, and I'm completely winded by the time I got to the top. And they said that's because there's got to be something wrong than just high blood pressure. Something's causing it. Something's probably um, and it's probably something with my heart, which I wouldn't be surprised at. Heart problems do run in my family for a couple of generations, so um, it wouldn't completely surprise me. But I'm not giving up. I'm still below my top weight. I'm happy with that, and I haven't gained a huge amount back. I've basically um I gained 9 pounds of it back, but that fluctuates. You can expect to fluctuate roughly about 5 pounds um, daily, depending on water intake and how much food and all kinds of variables. But I make sure I drink. I have two 32-ounce um, Nalgene bottles for camping, and I try to make sure that I drink both of them every day. It's not easy to drink that much water. One, yeah, I get one down definitely. Usually only get about half the other one down. But then I also get cups of tea. And you see the size of this cup. I love this cup because it stays hot for so long in there. So movement seems to be the thing that really does. And I've noticed that even if the weight didn't drop off, the measurements dropped. I have refused, the heavier I got, to ever wear pants with elastic waist, so I still have a waist. And I think always having like button pants with a zipper helped that. But I've noticed that the shorts that I had for when I was at my heaviest, I've had to take all three of them in because the measurements have changed so much. And these are the ones that were the new size. The ones that were the bigger size that gave away. So while I haven't lost much anymore yet, because I've had real problems with my back the beginning of the summer. And now that I'm trying to get back to doing that bit where I move, or I'll just do these. I have to do these in the morning anyway, where carefully turn like this. Now I can turn all the way on this side. I can't do that on this side because there's still a pinched nerve. Um, that has made my waist measurement go in, as well as my hips. And but now it's shorter bursts of that. Like, it literally now is only the amount of time it takes for the tea kettle to boil because the stamina is so bad. But I still am trying. I'm not giving up. Um, as long as it's some kind of movement, doesn't matter what, doesn't matter if it's just arm lifts. And my God, these are harder than you think. They are so much harder than you think to get you, because you're not like this with your hands this way. Your hands are this way. And it does more to get not only here, but it gets everything here. And there's all these lymph glands in here. So I had gotten told that from one of the therapists that this way is better because it helps make your lymph glands drain. It also does different things to your shoulder blades in your back and to your side under your armpit. So it'll help lose some of the fat that's in those areas, and it helps with the waddle thing here. So so I do them, but man, they are tiring. I don't get to do that many of those. Not right now with yeah, just that little bit, you see? I'm that's why they really think it's something with the heart. We'll find out what. But movement is definitely key. And I've got to watch that cuz in the winter if this house gets too chilly, I lose weight in the winter just cuz you're burning more calories to stay warm. But so don't give up, Nailer. Don't give up. None of us ever get to being overweight overnight. None of us get this way overnight. So we're not going to be able to trim it down overnight. I look at it this way. My weight it just is what it is. There were a lot of factors. Always having no, like, I had World War II parents. Every meal had to have a meat and potatoes. Every dinner had to have meat and potatoes. So, then precious few vegetables sometimes. So that we all were kind of on the heavy side. Um, so I never was taught anything about nutrition. I wasn't even taught to cook. My mother would kick me out of the kitchen. So so I didn't eat well because the only things I knew how to make were usually high calorie. Mac and cheese out of that box is not the healthiest thing you could ever eat. So we'll get there. You know, I know for me, it's like there's no blame or anything. It's just this is what it is, and I'm gonna just keep plugging away at trying to make it better. After all, I have to live long enough to be a problem to Michael's children, should he have any. A lot of the women in my family, quite a few of them, made it to 80. I'd like to and past it. Annie Al was just shy of her 96th birthday when she died in 1996. And because she was born in 1900. And so I want to I want to live, I want to at least see 80. And that means I need to get rid of some of this excess. So I'll keep plugging away. So welcome to the channel, W Naylor, and I hope to see you. I'll do another live next week. And like I said earlier, I don't know if it'll be a sale or not. But know that whatever you're facing, just one step at a time. And sometimes it can be a big step, and other times it's going to be lots of little steps. Whether it's trying to clean out your house, clean out a drawer, just sorting through things, or dealing with health and weight issues. It all takes time and it all takes steps forward. So tomorrow, my step forward is going to be getting Mike to help me with that hallway so that we can start lining stuff up for the auction house so that we can make, I'd like to say make a bigger dent in this house, but honestly, the stuff that's going to the auction house, there's stuff in this room, there's stuff in the playroom, there's stuff in the dining room doorway, there's stuff in the attic and the third floor, there's stuff in the coat closet in the hallway. There's stuff from everywhere, so there's not going to be one big suddenly empty spot in the house. But there, you'll see it. There will be stuff going. So, and I have 2 boxes 100% packed and ready. So that's a good thing. I'm still filling some of the others and working on them, but hey, one step at a time, right? So, I hope you guys have fun who are seeing this later on the repeat. And like, subscribe, and I will see you next Thursday. And part 2 of Mad Hatter will be posted for for Sunday afternoon. And I'll see you guys live next Thursday night. Bye, everybody.